Welcome back to Kris Greenhill's Garage. I'm Kris. Not with me today or through any part of this video most likely is Kris Jr. He is working. He is in school full-time and working almost full-time. So it's going to be mostly solo adventures for a while. That's alright. He's got to earn money to pay for the stuff on this and pay me back and a bunch of other things. So it is what it is. Besides, he's done this kind of work before, so he knows what's going on. Not a big deal that he's not here, except I could use an extra set of hands. I'm sitting inside his 1994 Mustang GT convertible, the unnamed convertible, because he has been too lazy to name it so far. Anyway, before I get outside and start sweating to death, I'm enjoying his nice, cool air conditioning in here. Today's project is going to be suspension work. Probably just the rear suspension. I'll be lucky if I can get through that today. I have ordered new shocks, new struts, new rear control arms, new polyurethane bushings, all that stuff for this car because this thing just... You know what? I might go take a video of how bad the suspension is in this thing to demonstrate. Anyway, Kris has done all that work before on 2 other cars, so not a huge deal that he's not here. Again, I wish I just had somebody to give me a hand. While I'm under the car, I'm going to inspect everything else. I'm going to pull the rear wheels off. I'm going to inspect the rear brakes. I'm going to try to bleed them because we're losing brake pressure again, but everything seems to be in order and we don't seem to be having any leaks anywhere. I'm going to check the brakes. We've got some vibration in the drivetrain and in the rear. So I'm going to check the exhaust and see if it's riding on anything after I put the new tailpipes in. I'm also going to check and like the transmission cross member, check the drive shaft, things like that. Anyway, let's get started because I'm sure I'm going to have a blast in this 102-degree Texas heat. All that stuff I just said about working on the red car, you can disregard that. One of my daughters decided to take our floor jack and loan it to a friend without asking or saying anything, so I have no way to work on the car today. Or tomorrow apparently, so there goes this weekend. Good times. It's a week later. Got Project White Trash outside and got the red convertible inside, and my jack has been returned, and I guess I should go ahead and just open all this stuff up and make sure this is actually the right stuff for this car before I start taking things apart. Always a good sign. Clearly these things have been dropped numerous times. They're chewed up, the paint's peeling, this is punctured through on both sides. But whatever, only the finest Chinesium for us. Here they are in all their Chinesium glory. They've clearly been dinged up and scratched up. They've probably been sold and returned 10 times. They look serviceable. They look fine for $55 or whatever. And what can you expect? Probably the best control arms you can get in the world for $55. And they look just like the $75 ones that are on White Trash and on the black car. So far so good. Hopefully these work. Shocks and struts. These are the same brand of shock, at least, that are on the black car. They seem fine. They're serviceable. We ordered these struts once before we realized what we were looking for. Oh, and you know what? I take it back. We have the same struts with the coilover on the front of the black car. So yeah, we've got these all around in the black car also, and they're fine. They're better than this thing that I'll show you here in a minute. Let me show you how bad this is. Junior and I almost had this thing off the ground here a while back. It was bouncing so high. And the front and back are the same. Car is up in the air and secured and ready to get started. And as always, it's my day off and I'm working on a car. So it's raining in Texas. It was 102 degrees a few minutes ago. But oh, by the way, White Trash is outside now. Joke's on you today, Mother Nature. I have a garage loser. I don't remember it being such a pain to get the interior out of this thing to get to the shocks. My 94, of course mine wasn't a convertible, but you'd think it'd be about the same. I don't think the interior had ever been out. These would not move. Some of them broke, some pieces of the interior broke. Some of them pulled out okay, but man, this was rough. And kind of virgin looking in here, including those rotted out bushings on the shocks. This is another example, another reason why the world hates engineers. You cannot get a socket on that. So I'm going to have to hold at the top of that with vice grips and use a hand wrench to take that entire thing off. That is ridiculous. I think engineers should be forced, in order to keep their job, to assemble whatever they design with hand wrenches, top to bottom, beginning and end. And then when they get to the point, they go, oh, well, this isn't possible. This is horribly hard. Exactly. You're fired. This should not take this long. This is ridiculous. Stupid engineers. Good grief. I'm going to take a mental health break from the shock and kind of inspect things underneath the car. Yeah, a lot of old rotten stuff under here, all factory. Let's see what else we got up front. I just found a ton of our brand new vibration back here. Came to check the U-joints and they're good. The drive shaft bolts are backing out. Every single one of them. I got to get this thing in neutral so I can spin it and get this locked down. All 4 drive shaft bolts were hand loose. Even the 2 that were in there, they looked like they were in there. You could take all 4 of them in and out by hand. I've just snugged them down. I'll put a little gasket seal on the back to encourage them to sit tight. Carrying on underneath the car, the transmission mount looks in good shape. Let me go kind of move it and see if it rattles. We have a problem. Whoever put this rear rim on last clearly cross-threaded this one bolt all the way down. We've never taken these off before. Every single one of these lugs is one of these stupid locks, which we hate. And I was going to go get new lugs for Junior as soon as I got these off, but these other 4 come on and off no problem. This one is clearly cross-threaded all the way down, and the air wrench won't do it. I burned an entire tank of air and it was just frozen. When I get the big pry bar out, it feels like the lug stud is going to break. Oh man, I can't believe this. I am now twisting the actual lock mechanism, the key to this thing. It is twisting. You can see that shiny part down in the middle. That wasn't like that a minute ago. I'm about to break the head off this thing, which means we won't be able to get any of the wheels off. That's a problem. At least for right now, until I can get new lugs. I'm not going to mess with this thing again until I get a whole new set of lugs I can put on here, because if I break this thing and twist it in 2, I won't be able to get the other wheels off. So I'm going to hold off on this and just go back to messing with what I can with the wheel on it. Pretty frustrated right now. I got that one shock off, at least the bottom. I already had to break out the giant pry bar. It was that stuck. But now I can't really get a wrench on this with the tire on it. I'm already running into problems with that tire. This is crazy. This shock bolt is just laughing at my impact wrench. This is going to take days to do if every single bolt is going to be this difficult. Really depressing. Many pry bar sessions later, that is finally done. Oh my God, I'm already exhausted. This is going to take forever at this rate. Finally found some vice grips and a ratcheting hand wrench. Maybe I can get this done sometime today. Finally. I'm running into several issues. Just getting the sway bar off is going to be almost impossible on the other side with the tire right here. I can't really get to anything until I get that tire off. This side is bad enough, mounting brake lines and everything in front of it, mounting brake lines to the movable control arm. Just more engineering stupidity. Mounting it right in front of a bolt, just beyond stupid. But I can't even get to the other side, so I'm going to try to do this side for now until I can get that other wheel off. I'm also going to go ahead and pull the tailpipes and pull the mufflers, since I can't really see it from here. But oh yeah, there we go. That's where I need to get to. The muffler's right up against it on both sides. I cannot get the exhaust hangers off, so I'm not able to get the pipes off the hangers, so I'm just having to take the entire exhaust hanger off both sides. What a pain. Since this passenger side exhaust hanger has been hitting the frame, I'm going to clearance it a little. It's difficult to explain with mere words in the English language how hard it was to get that sway bar off with that tire still on the car. My God. Pretty sure I'm going to have to pull the mufflers to get to the front part of this sway bar. Yeah, at least the passenger side muffler. It is not wanting to play ball. I'm not sure if I can get to this one or not. Yep, the muffler's gonna have to go. I cannot get to this in here. Can't get a pry bar on it. Can't fit any kind of wrench in there. I've got to be able to get over to this side over here, wherever that thing is. So I'm gonna pull the mufflers. Finally got both mufflers out. Whoever did this, whatever hack exhaust shop did this, went full potato. I'm gonna have to cut that off. I'm not dealing with that stupidity. Look at this. Look how much slack there is in here. Look at these old bushings, fried and burned out. There's hardly anything left. That's on both sides of the upper control arms. Lower control arms aren't much better. Look at all the slack in there. That's why this thing swayed side to side. Oh, and there's just pieces of rubber missing from inside all of these. Completely trashed. Oh no. Oh, you got to be kidding me. I completely forgot to order the upper axle housing bushings. I was thinking this was an all-in-one kit. I didn't need anything extra. Oh man. Well, the good news is I'm not going to finish this week. It's going to sit here for a while. Maybe I can get some ordered. Or maybe these aren't going to be in such horrible shape after all. Who knows? Let's see what the car sounds like with an open H-pipe. Not too bad. Needs more cam chop. Or, you know, any cam chop at all. That ever so slight engine miss is even more prevalent with the open exhaust. Finally ready to give this passenger side lower control arm a try. It appears that I can reach everything. I might even be able to reach things on the other side with that tire on. We'll see. After a lot of struggling, I finally remembered that if you take off the drive shaft, you can move things around a lot freer. You don't have that force pushing the middle of the differential back. But that still didn't get me where I wanted to go, and I couldn't figure out why nothing was moving. And then I remembered the quad shocks. And yes, taking off the quad shocks allows me to move everything where I need it to go. I'm not used to dealing with quad shocks, and even though they're burned out and don't work, don't do anything, they were travel limiting the rear end. They weren't allowing it to move freely, so I took them off. Had planned to reuse them and put them back on and just flip them around, because spoiler alert, but there will be some rims, some new wheels and tires coming for this car soon. But the quad shocks are completely burned out. They're doing nothing, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna put them back on or not. I don't know if they're gonna clear the new rims and tires. Once the quad shocks are gone, everything just came apart real easy. I meant to get a can of red spray paint and go over the missing little pieces of this, but I forgot, and it's not that important. That was crazy. That is, without shadow of a doubt, the tightest fitting control arm I've ever had in my life. I had to grease up the inside, I had to grease up the bearing, I had to get my 3-pound mini sledge out and beat this thing into position till it lined up. Insanely tight. I tried prying the frame pieces apart, but I finally got it in. I asked Kris if he wanted to lower the car any, cut a coil off the spring or half a coil. He said no, he didn't want to mess with it. He didn't want to mess with the handling or the ride height or anything, so it's his choice. I'm just going to leave this be. I considered jokingly cutting half a coil off and be like, oops, and lowering the car a little, but that's his decision, and later on we can always put lowering springs in if he wants, but it's going back together as is. Unfortunately, I didn't think to order isolators. I'm not used to dealing with them either. The top one is okay, the bottom one's pretty trash, but go ahead and put them both back on and see if it'll help keep this thing a little bit quieter. I'm gonna go ahead and oil them also, which I forgot to do. The weight of that tire over there is throwing everything off. It's pulling the rear end cockeyed to the side. I'm probably gonna have to lift up that side and put a jack stand under it or something to keep it balanced. When I'm jacking over here, it's lowering over there. Now the tire's hitting the ground and it's cockeying the whole thing, so I can't get my control arm in. I said earlier that the front part of this control arm is the most hammering that I've ever had to do on suspension. That was until now. This was nowhere close. I had to support that side of the differential. Then I had to support this side. Then I had to jack up on the middle. Then I had to hit it with a hammer. Look at the back of this thing. I have beat on this thing more than you can imagine. I'm gonna have to straighten my shock brace after this is over from hitting it with the hammer. Absolutely insane. That's only one control arm. Oh, and neither spring isolator made it. They both started tearing from the constant up and down and install and take out and reinstall. So we're going no isolators in this. Got the upper control arm out. That's not really what I wanted to see, but it's not the worst I've seen. So probably gonna have to just work for now, and then we can change it out later sometime. Maybe, probably not. Third cheap control arm kit in a row that does not come with nearly enough washers. I don't get it. I know they're cheap, but Jesus, I'll pay an extra $1 for some extra washers, and now I can't find my tub of washers. Good times. How are these things so far off from lining up? Oh, for God's sake. I mean, really? This isn't even close, and this is just barely sitting in there. Come on now. Thought maybe I got the control arms on opposite sides, but if anything, if I put this one over here, it's going to pull further towards the driver's side and be even worse off. So that's the right one. So both sides of this are hitting this center bolt section. So I think I've got to pull it out, and I got to try to stretch that out a little bit, open it up, and then I can clamp it back together with the impact wrench. Well, I got that spread out just a little bit extra and got it to go on. If you're wondering how I did it, I did this. I put a crescent wrench on each side, clamped it down, and then just grabbed each handle and spread it apart manually. Probably a 1/4 inch is about all you need. Can't really demonstrate because I don't have enough hands or anyone to hold the camera, but that's what I did. And to clarify, you have to stretch the front and the bottom here in order to widen that out enough to drop on. And there we are, halfway done. The easy half. which was insanely, brutally hard. Oh, I'm not looking forward to the other side with that wheel still on there. Pro tip, especially for the upper control arms, if you're not getting the angle and the bolt you want, jack up the other side of the housing. Jack it up, and it might seem counterproductive to tip the thing at weird angles, but keep jacking up different sides. Just now I had to jack up the far driver's side at a strange angle to get the passenger side, the bolt to start. Then I had to drop that side, jack it up in the middle to get it to line up to stab the bolts. So you got to get kind of creative sometimes, especially when you only have two hands. I wish I could have shown you, but again, only two hands. Now for the really fun part, trying to swap this control arm out with the wheel on, only being able to access it from the inside. This balancing weight on the back of the differential is super loose. It's supposed to make things smoother. I don't know if that might be a little bit of our vibration also. I'll tighten that up in a little while. Oh, that was a lot of fun. And that was the easy part, getting it out. So much hammering. And that was the easy part. I am absolutely beating this thing until my hands hurt. This is as close as I've gotten so far. I'm having to jack up on the control arm with this piece of wood so that the rear end can move independently. And I found the best thing to do is hit this right here. Just the best result I've gotten so far versus hitting it anywhere else. This almost defeated me. You have no idea how many times I had to jack this up and change angles and supported the jack stand and jack the control arm. You can see how badly I've beaten this thing. It's not very red anymore underneath all that grease. Pretty hard, but I finally have all the bolts in. Everything is hand tight. Now I need to jack it up into running position, move the jack stands underneath the rear end so it sits at ride height, then tighten everything down. No joke, I completely forgot the shocks. I guess I better install them. I might have gone a little bit overboard with the hammering on this thing, trying to get that control arm in there. I bent my shock mount a little. I got the shocks in. I haven't put the quad shocks back in, but I flipped them. The old school 90s trick to clear bigger tires. They're not doing a whole lot, but I figured that's a 6th point of attachment from the chassis to the suspension. So I put them back in to give us the best chance at the best ride. And if our new rims don't fit them, we can always yank them off with 2 bolts. Anyway, it's at ride height. Time to go through and tighten the rest of the suspension back up. All right, all the control arms, the shocks, the quad shocks are all set fully tight at ride height. Now I got to get the sway bar on there and the drive shaft, and the suspension will be done. The sway bar is not going to fit the way it used to. It's going to fit outside the tabs on the control arm, so I've got to pull these off, flip them around, and try to put it on with the bolts coming from the inside going to the outside. Lovely. Because the sway bar is mounting different, I have to figure out how to get this to mount in here and sandwich this, which means I have to bend or cut this off or out of the way to get this to fit. So much fun. I had to do a little bit of creative rigging here. I had to mount this brake line bracket on the outside of this and then put a nut on it to hold it. I'll have to do the same to the other side. It's the only way it's going to go together. I just hope I have proper wheel clearance. It looks like it sits too far in this way. Drive shaft is back on and Loctited down. The only problem I'm having now is I cannot find my other sway bar bolt. It was right here with the others and has vanished off the face of the earth. It's been quite a while. I ran out of time and patience, so I just put a regular bolt with a regular nut and a lock washer on the end of it. It's not correct, but it's Gonna have to do for now. If I ever find the other bolt, I can put it in later. It's 4 days later. I just called it quits the other day on the car. I wasn't having it anymore. I was exhausted, tired. Put the suspension back together. Didn't finish the exhaust. Didn't put it on the ground. Didn't test drive it. Junior didn't have time to do it either. So I'm back out here. I've got a couple of hours today. I'm going to try to hopefully get the car finished and get it test driven. I have both mufflers sitting on here. Now I'm going to try to play with our tailpipe alignment, because I just realized, I didn't realize this side was hitting, but this side, the driver's side, doesn't have any room over here, but has plenty of room here. The passenger side does not have either. It's got 1/8 of an inch on each side. I think the first thing I'm going to do is cut the nipples off this thing so I can take the exhaust on and off easier. I created my own problem on the passenger side. I bent the bracket this way, trying to clearance this, and now to get the tailpipe to sit where I want it, we have this. It's because I want it to sit right there at that black line, like the other one will, when it's clearanced properly and sitting properly. But it won't do it because I bent things too far. So now I need to bend them back. Rather than cutting this nipple off, I've got to push everything back that way again. I changed my mind. Exhaust hanger nipples have left the chat. I got tired of their negative attitude and refusing to go in when I wanted them to go in, and they're gone. You've got to be kidding me. I was cutting the nipple off the top of the exhaust hanger here. I'd already cut the one off the tailpipe hanger. I was cutting the one off the top of the nipple, and this just, oh, whoops, wrong way. This just snapped in two. The exhaust hanger just broke right in two. You can tell I did not cut that. I was cutting this up here, up top, and this just broke in two pieces. Good times. Fixed. Sure, that's a garbage bubblegum weld, but that means it's slightly better than what the exhaust shop did to this thing originally. I'm able to grab the vice grips and pull on it, so it's strong enough for this job. This time around, I'm trying to get the tailpipes lined up, get them adjusted the way I want, and then go back and set the mufflers based on where the tailpipes are. And I think I'm doing a better job this time. Without just cutting these hangers off and starting all over, there's no way for me to get this to quit rubbing the frame up here. So the rubber hose is staying. I'm hopefully going to mount it tight enough where instead of hitting and knocking back and forth, it just sits there. I bought brand new lug nuts for Junior's car. The plan was I was going to swap out 19 of the 20 that would come off and just run these, then take it to a tire shop and see if somebody could get that off for me. But the new lugs, they will technically fit, but you can't get a wrench on them. I don't own a socket of any kind that will fit in there, so these will just have to wait till we get the new tires and new wheels on the car. Pro tip, don't buy these Vision wheels, they suck. We didn't buy them, they came with the car. We are just about to get rid of them. And definitely, whatever you do, don't ever buy these wheel locks. I'm guessing the guy got these wheel locks because they're thin and they would actually fit in these crappy wheels, but don't do either one of those things. No Vision wheels and none of these crappy locking things. I think I'm completely done. Time to put it on the ground and see if this thing drives okay. I will probably be back at a later date to replace these upper housing bushings, because you can see there's a little bit of a gap in here where the bushing has been compressed and isn't wide enough for to fill in the control arm. Oh well. And that sounds like a future Kris problem. Oh yeah, quite a bit of difference from before. All right. Went to start it up and the battery's dead. I left the trunk open for 4 days, which means the trunk light was on for 4 days, which means the battery's dead, which means I need to push it out of here so I can jump start it, because I don't have a jump box. Go ahead and try to start it. Nope, needs another minute. Try it again. All right, time to test drive. Already, no more rear end vibration. I'm guessing that was all that drive shaft. Who'd have thought you needed drive shaft bolts to keep the drivetrain from vibrating? Weird, so weird. Vibration. I mean, other than the usual 31-year-old car stuff, it's got little things here and there, but we're not having the rattling, the knocking, the shaking in the rear. I think that was a combination of mostly the drive shaft and a little bit of the exhaust tailpipes, but so much better. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Oh. Well, the rear end is nice and solid and tight. The front end is not. So I'm gonna keep that to a minimum. But before, this thing would wave so much you'd almost break the rear tires loose doing that. So much improved. Well, now the only vibration I get is from the front brakes under braking, which looked fine when we took them apart. Alright, no traffic. Oh yeah, 1,000 times better. Oh yeah. No more tail wag at all. The other day, Junior was driving this to work and we hit a little pothole and the whole thing almost pulled him into another lane. The front a little, the rear hit, and it just started wagging on him. And that's not good for inexperienced drivers. That can get somebody hurt or killed. So this is 1,000 times stiffer now. That little turn we took, or I took just now, 10 times better. 10 times better. No way this car does that just a few days ago. Alright, that's it. I am done with this thing. The rear end swap, or rear end suspension swap, was a success. It feels great. It obviously needs new front bushings. It needs new struts. Why are you idling high all of a sudden? Stop it. Anyway, I've got new struts. I don't have new bushings yet. I'm going to be completely honest. I hate front ends. I hate front coil springs. I hate having to compress them. I'm definitely going to wait till Junior and I can do that together and we have a couple of days. I hate having to cut out and press in new bushings. I really don't want to do the front end, but it's probably going to be maybe a month, maybe more. I've got other things coming up. Junior and I don't have any time off together. Right now I'm about to pull white trash inside, back up piece of Stang, the black car, to it, and do a drive shaft swap and see if that gets rid of some of my vibration in the black car. But thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. God bless.